All right, hello and welcome. This is 5 Live. We've got a full program packed up for you, one which look at the very interesting question of what the Delhi exodus is all about, the pollution exodus all about. But first up, we've got some news updates coming in from Chhattisgarh. Let's take a look at that. This is a horrific train accident that is coming in from Chhattisgarh's Bilaspur, where a freight train and passenger train collided head-on, causing several coaches to derail. Over a dozen passengers have been injured, some which have reported to be in critical condition as well. Those pictures on your screen where we are told that at least 6 people are feared dead as of now. The Commissioner of Railway Safety is to investigate the Bilaspur train incident altogether, and the railway rescue teams have also been rushed into the spot. The relief operations are underway, as you can see. The impact of the collision was so severe that multiple coaches climbed over each other. Of course, there is panic in the area, but you can clearly see that point of collision over there, where a freight train and a passenger train collided head-on. All right, those pictures coming in from your screen right now are from Bilaspur in Chhattisgarh, where in a horrific turn of events, 2 trains collided with each other head-on. You can see that. There is one a freight train and one a passenger one on top of the other. As of this point, we know that at least 6 people have been feared dead and also dozens, understandably, injured. Several in critical condition as well.
इनका एक्सीडेंट हो गया है लोकल ट्रेन का।
All right, for years now, doctors have been saying it. Leave Delhi if you can. Every winter, pollution levels hit a new high. Every study links thousands of deaths to toxic air. And every year, the warning gets louder. The city, the air here is killing you. But is anyone really leaving? Can you just walk away from your home, your job, your city? You must have heard of something called pollucations. These are like some short escapes when the air turns really bad. But what happens when pollution isn't just a season anymore? When it's 12 months of a year? When children here in the national capital are born with weak lungs? When adults live with constant coughs, headaches, and burning eyes? When the air outside your door feels like a slow poison, what do? Do you fight it? Do you learn to live with it? Or do you finally say enough is enough? Today we are asking a very pertinent question, something I'm sure has hit your minds as well, conversation with friends and family as well. Has the Delhi pollution exodus begun? Is it really a possibility now? Are people actually packing up their homes, their jobs, their lives and leaving the national capital region, not for fun or adventure or even work, but simply to breathe right? On the program today, we'll hear from those who have actually made that call. The ones who loved Delhi but had to leave it to just live. So is Delhi Chodo, the pollution exodus, an actual reality now? Something that is actually happening. Let me introduce our guests now. First up with us today is Sangeeta Udayashankar. Sangeeta is a software engineer. She left Delhi about 8 years ago, and she was in Noida, had a house of her own, but decided to move to Bangalore. Sangeeta, can we first start with you? Try and understand what was the immediate trigger.
So I was in Delhi for basically Noida NCR, Noida, I have to be precise. And we were there, we had bought a house. My work location was very much close by. Everything was going perfect. And then all of a sudden, around 2015, I saw that there was a little bit of a dark air outside. And then 2016, it felt like a black doomsday kind of an atmosphere outside. And 2017, I was carrying, and then I didn't want to risk it. My son I delivered was a preterm. He had a weak lung, so I really didn't want to risk it. And then my husband also developed sinusitis. We could see black dust or kind of a black spot in his mucus as well. So we didn't want to take any more chances. So we moved, and I moved back to my hometown,
Wow.
that was Bangalore.
Wow. Your story, Sangeeta, is one that sounds like mine. Here in Noida, work is close by, family is close by, everything is fine except for this air. But you've managed to make that move. Did you not think about what you're leaving behind? And did life come easy in Bangalore?
So all our plans were derailed. What we were made home, what we got comfortable with, we had developed our own circle. We had elders who were like treating us like their children. Our parental, everything was set. We had somehow made up our minds, and though Bangalore was home and everybody wants to come to Bangalore, but I was in Noida and very happily there. But then health comes first. I did have a tough pregnancy. I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to risk it at any chance. So health was always on priority. So we did have to calculate everything, and we did have a tough time to sell our house as well, which we had. It was our first car, first house, the first of everything. I moved there after my wedding, after my marriage. So everything was at the first, and all the emotions and all the things that we had built, I had to. We took the tough call, and I think it's worth it because health comes first at the end of the day.
Health comes first, although I'm not sure if Bangalore is any better when it comes to traffic at least, but we'll come to that in just a bit. You're being brave about it right now. Let me bring in our other, case studies here as well. Also with us is Malini. Now, Malini is a public health activist. She, of course, knew the perils of what this air is doing to us much before any of us caught onto it. Malini also has an interesting story. She has now relocated to Chennai. Malini, so you clearly understood that health comes first. You clearly knew what this toxic air constantly was doing to us, not just in these 4 months, but throughout the year. You obviously knew that the numbers which we think are moderate and okay is what the West would come to a standstill at. US, UK, European countries, Canada, etc., they would all just shut shop, shut down all schools at the air which we consider breathable here in Delhi. But my understanding is this: every time I hear a doctor say, leave Delhi if you can, I find it so easy for them to say, so hard to implement. How do you pack up your entire life, your kids' school, your job, and just move to another city? How did you do that?
Hi, Sonal. Thanks for having me. I resonate with a lot with what was said earlier, and I think that the single reason that really pushed us to make that shift was my daughter, who is now about 3.5 years old. So I have grown up, lived, and worked in Delhi for decades. And in spite of living through years of poor air quality year on year, especially post Diwali, and in the case of my partner who has a condition called allergic rhinitis, we never made a serious attempt to leave the city. So it was only really after my daughter was born that the two of us had a very clear understanding that this is not something we want to expose her to in her early years, when children are disproportionately at risk from the effects of air pollution. And I think another factor was also that everywhere we looked, all of our friends with small children, they have all had stories of, emergency ER visits, of respiratory issues, of children on inhalers. And I think we just had to face the reality that there are no precautions that one can take when it comes to protecting small children. And so that's the reason for the move to Chennai, which obviously we were very lucky to be able to exercise the choice and may not be a viable option for everyone else.
That's true, not a viable option for a lot of else, but I'm hearing two mothers say exactly the same thing, and something inside me is getting triggered as I hear that as a mum myself. that it was just too much to put your kid through that. A child who cannot wear a mask, it's not advisable to wear a mask below 3, under 5 also in certain cases. You can't keep them indoors in an air purifier running all the time. They have to go outside. Living indoors sort of, it just doesn't help them. Going out will impact their life, physical and mental. So what do? You've got to pack your bags and leave. But after having heard from 2 mums, let me bring in a dad here. Now, Jaidhar Gupta is an environmentalist like everybody else. He's obviously aware. But Jaidhar, you got a complication, your own health complication, something that you were not born with. But what you claim is Delhi air did to you.
Yeah, hi Sonal. I was diagnosed with bronchial asthma. I was running and training for a marathon in Delhi's air in 2013. And soon after that, I turned into a clean air activist. Was part of Delhi government's pollution think tank as well in 2015 when we actioned the odd even in an effort to create awareness because I believe that awareness precedes change. However, the kind of city Delhi is, the awareness has not led to change, which is mind baffling. I thought parents in this city would be up in arms. The kind of toxicity that goes into our body every day. We inhale 12,000 liters of air in a day, and people are so busy filtering water. And nobody's emotional, nobody's passionate about something which you can't stop your breath. So what are you going to do? You have to leave this city. I mean, I remember telling the chief minister in 2015 that property values in this city will crash. I don't understand why anybody would want to live in Gotham City, and that's what Delhi is today. And it's not a few days. People think it's farm fires, 2-3 weeks, it's Diwali. This is a 10-month problem. I mean, and even the monsoon time where we have at best we have moderate air. I mean, the last time we met the Indian national standard of air quality was on September 10th of 2023, which is 8 times the WHO standard. So what are we talking about here? And the kind of complications, the kind of toxicity that we're talking about, we don't even know what's in our air. It's microplastics, it's black carbon nanoparticles, the kind of pesticide that's used in agriculture, the kind of chemicals that are used in industry. We don't even know what's entering our body right now.
Yeah. And Jay, I completely understand what you're saying. In fact, a couple of years back, Jay and I were there at the India Gate, where we were still educating ourselves on masks, on the right kind of masks. But I'll come to you about in a moment on why do you think it doesn't bother a lot of people. It bothers some to the degree that they leave the city, and it doesn't bother others where they're going out and running marathons in 400 AQI. They are cycling in 400 AQI. So I really want to understand what is going wrong in this air pollution conversation where we don't have everybody on the same page. But before that, let me bring in Mohini. Now, Mohini's story really stuck with me because unlike anybody else, she doesn't have a home to go back to. Delhi is her home. This is her house. She stays in, grew up in GK1. Stayed here. She's an actual thoroughbred Delhi wala, but now she doesn't stay in Delhi anymore. I want to understand how hard was it to really go through this, Mohini, and what did you do? What about occupation?
Yes, so I was born in Delhi and I grew up in Delhi along with my schooling and college for 37 years before I decided to move finally my base from Delhi to Goa. And now I am relocated in Goa since 8 years. And I was also asthmatic growing up as a child. And then I was traveling extensively around the world. And when I would go to such beautiful locations all around the world, I wanted to live closer to nature and breathe clean air. And when I got pregnant, I decided now or never. Like, this is the time that I can really take this bold move. And I shifted my base, though I was really thriving in my travel business at that time. But I chose a slow pace, peaceful life over money and Yeah, and we love now being in Goa. We have fresh mangoes and coconuts from the trees. And yeah, my child and we live very like 5 minutes close to beach. So we enjoy the nature here. And I still like to go back to Delhi time to time to visit my family, but I would not compromise nature or living in nature over, yeah, unhealthy, polluted air. So yes, and it's a bold move, but it is possible. And sometimes we might have to compromise over money or work, but it is worth it, I would say.
Compromise over money, compromise over work in order to prioritize health, in order to prioritize upbringing for your kids. That's what I'm hearing in from all the three mothers there on our panel today, and also from Jay. But Malini, come in on this point. It's a privileged move. Not everybody can afford to do this. It's also a difficult move. I don't want to undermine this by any stretch. Listening to all of you, I'm thinking, what am I putting my child through with this air? But where are we going wrong in this? Why do you think, like I said, and I'll come with that question to Jay also in a bit, there are some people who are so impacted by air that they leave. There are others who are still running and exercising. Where are we lagging in that conversation?
So maybe, I don't know if I have all the answers, Sonal, but I'll just say that I think that we have to recognize that it's not a viable solution for people to just pick up and leave, because there are millions of people who are tied to Delhi for their work, for their livelihoods, for various other reasons. They have to support their families. And where would they go? So you'd have to escape the entire pollution belt of North India. And there are other cities that are not much better than Delhi. For example, Mumbai is almost as bad. So as in my personal experience, of course, I haven't regretted the decision because Chennai is one of the few metros that has clean air. But in a sense, I have been forced to reach a compromise professionally. So Delhi being the seat of government is an important place for anybody working on policy issues actively. And so I do feel that alongside the many burdens and demands of motherhood, there has been an additional trade-off with my keeping my child's welfare in mind. And who knows, maybe I will have to move back for professional reasons. So I don't think that we can, you can't discount people's constraints and other, needs and in having to stay in Delhi. But as a public health professional, I just have to add that stress, of course, the need for greater awareness of the health risks and say the same thing about, increasing the demand for action and accountability, better solutions from the government, even
Got it.
though, yes.
Yeah, I just want to make a small point before we go ahead. For any of you watching right now and all of those, hooked on with us as well, we've been running, when I put out the story earlier yesterday evening, that this is the story that I want to track. I want to understand if people are actually leaving Delhi and taking doctors' advice. The amount of response I got was overwhelming even for me. I thought there'll be a specific few privileged people who will manage to go back to their hometown, still work from home, etc. But that wasn't the case. Last I counted, I got 30 verifiable responses on just one post on Instagram where people said that they left Delhi only for pollution. I'll request the producers to put those graphics up as well for people to actually see, those who could not join us on the program today, but all of them have a story to tell. So Jay, tell me about this then. You moved to Uttarakhand, right? You go for a couple of months, etc. But it's unfeasible for some people to just simply do that. What are we thinking about even? Is this, and there was a time, that's why, there was a time when we said Delhi chalo. There was an entire generation of people like me, largely millennials in the 90s, who grew up in small towns and thought if I had made it to Delhi, my dream had been achieved, right? I still call Delhi my karma bhumi. But of late, I'm coming to question at what cost does it come at? The cost of my health, one of my child as well.
No, there's a huge cost associated with it, and I've said it a few times already in the past few weeks. I think the cost of living in Delhi, the health cost of living in Delhi far outweighs the benefits of it. No question about it. It's you asked. By the way, you use the word pollucation, which I don't like because it's glamorizing pollution. I like to think of myself as a pollution refugee. I'm a refugee. I'm forced to leave my home. So this is not glamorous in any way. This is not something anybody desires. I'm being forced to become a refugee because my eyes are swollen. I have the allergic rhinitis, which turns into a bronchial asthma attack and a bronchial cough. This is not anything that anybody desires. So I think the right terminology is I am a pollution refugee. I'm definitely not taking pollucations, which sound kind of fun actually. No, this is not fun. I'm being forced away from work. I'm being forced away from family. You asked a question, why haven't we got this right? Uh, Sonal, in 2015, WHO declared Delhi as the worst air quality city in the world. And we've had 3 Delhi elections since then. And we have failed to put clean air in any manifesto as a high demand. It's not been in the top 10 in any election, in any manifesto. I think it's a failure on the part of the citizens of Delhi repeatedly. I don't even know what we're voting for anymore in Delhi or any other part of this country because nobody cares about health and environment. And it's biting us in the ass, right, as we speak. Okay. I think you've got a really smart bunch of people on this panel and much smarter than me because I'm still spending some time in Delhi. These ladies are so smart. I wish I had moved out in 2013 or 14. And now it's not a Chennai or a Bangalore. I mean, I'm moving to the remotest area in Uttarakhand where there's no humans because I just want to be around nature and animals or nature in all its forms. Like I have lost my faith in humanity is where I'm at because the citizens can't get it right because we fail to vote for the right things again and again and again. The government has no accountability. I mean, there's the schools are going on. There's no health advisory. There's no mask mandate. People are dying. You see the obituary section in the newspaper. It's getting longer and longer. Nobody cares. I mean, there's a clear established science, associating air pollution with morbidity and mortality. We're talking about years of life lost of 11.9 years by living in Delhi. Nobody in government is believes in the science. They keep refuting the data, ignoring the problem. I think the real problem is they feel like a 5-year term is too short a span to change behavior. And that's the real problem. And they're not going to step into it. They're not going to put their foot into it unless we citizens make it a vote bank issue. And that's the problem. And we fail.
But the citizens who
again
want to
and
make it a
again
vote
and
bank
again.
issue are either moving out or not voting. And I think you're right that it hasn't become a problem just yet and not been raised by citizens enough. Last few minutes on the program, so I want to give that to both Sangeeta and also Mohini there. Sangeeta, very quickly, you are, as a software engineer, I just want to understand this. Have you taken a hit on your work in order to prioritize health? And today, if you were to do that again, would you?
So I did take a hit. I was in a very an MNC where I was growing up the ladder and my work was proven, but I had to take a call to move out and change the jobs, and there I did not have work from home option. So I had to get to work. But then but I still would not take a chance and move back. So not, and I haven't seen anything improve at all. It's been at the same stage or rather getting worse day by day. So I really wouldn't want to take a chance anyhow to move back to Delhi or NCR.
All right, there you go. The pollution exodus has clearly begun. It's not just Sangeeta, Malini, Jay and Mohini whose story these are. Like I said, these are stories of several more people and others who are saying, I wish I could. So perhaps time for us to ask ourselves these questions as well. Are you really voting on issues like these? Does it really matter? We'll leave you with that food for thought, and we'll see you again tomorrow, same time. Thank you so much for watching. Think about what is a priority. Think about what's more important. Bye-bye.